Hey, what's going on, guys? So today in this video, I'm going to break down what I believe to be one of the most important parts of what we do when it comes to sales. Because a lot of the times what happens is people lose their attitude when they don't have control. So what breaking down your day does is it puts you back in control of your results. And I think that's the most powerful place to be. Because if you feel like whatever happens, there's something that you could do about it, then you feel more empowered more and more, right? So the goal is when you come back from the sales field, whether you did exactly what you said you were going to do, you did less than or greater than, you want to finish the day in a hopeful way where you're like, tomorrow is going to be better because of reason X, Y, and Z, right? So we're going to go over that. Now, this is going to pertain directly to our business to business clients. So as I mentioned in previous videos, what you'll see is our goal every time we go out into the field is to, get to 50 to 60 businesses. And out of those, we're going to meet 10 to 12 decision makers. Out of those decision makers, 6 to 8 of them, we're actually going to get to do a bill presentation, which is when we break down everything and how much value we're going to be able to add to them. And then from those 6 to 8 decision makers, about 4 to 6 of them, we're actually going to get to the form that's on the tablet to fill out that form. And then out of those, 2 to 3 of them are actually going to be customers, right? So everything that I do is going to be based off of that. And as you can see on the board as well, there's like percentages, right? So pretty much every day when I speak to, a certain amount of businesses, I need about 20% of those businesses to have the decision makers. Now, if they don't, there is a reason why. Then I need to get better at that part. Then out of the decision maker, about 60% of them, we're actually going to do a bill presentation for. Once again, if I'm getting the right amount of decision makers but not getting the right amount of bill presentations, there's something else that I need to be working on. Same thing for bill presentation to forms, and then from forms to customers, right? So what happens is every single day you come back, you want to know those numbers, right? The men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So I want to know the numbers because the number is going to tell me, objectively what I need to work on without including any emotions or anything like that. And I think that's really important. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it's important for you to feel like you're in control at all times, right? So if I come back and the businesses to decision makers is where the biggest deficit is, right? So for example, it's supposed to be 20%, and let's say it's 10%. That means I need to work on one of these two things, right? It's either the C principle, smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, as we spoke about in some of our other videos as well. It is important for me to understand I'm only getting 10% of those people to say they're decision makers because they're not excited about me being there, right? Now, is every decision maker in every business at all times? Of course not, right? But I want to make sure I'm doing a great job of that. My C principle, I'm smiling, the eye contact is there, the enthusiasm is on point. And secondly, I am giving a great icebreaker to everyone. I'm smiling while giving that icebreaker. They're receptive of it because of the way I'm delivering the icebreaker. Now, let's say that was not the issue for the day. Let's say the issue was between the decision makers and the bill presentation. Now there's a whole nother thing that I need to work on, right? It's either how I'm overturning objections, because as I go over and explain what I'm doing there and things like that, there's going to be an objections, right? Sales don't come without objections. That means I need to get better at overturning objections. I need to get better at what we call CPR, which is creating personal relationships. That means I need to get better at building relationships. People want to do business with a friend, not with a stranger, right? So I want to make sure people understand fully what I'm looking to do, but I'm going to build a great relationship with them as well. And what I train people on is the better my relationship is with the person that I'm speaking to, the less objections I have to overturn. They just trust me more. And I want them to trust me so I don't have to spend my entire time with them overturning objections. And then the other thing that I might need to work on if my decision makers to bill presentation is not where it needs to be, is quality time with quality people. I'm probably just spending too much time with the wrong people. If someone is not the decision maker, unfortunately, there's not much they can do for me, right? All they can do is reference what I'm talking about to the actual decision maker. But for the most part, they can't really do anything. So what a lot of people do is like most of those people, they're receptionists and things like that. So they're very friendly people. That's literally why they got the position in the first place. They're really good at sparking up conversations and getting you excited. And if you're not cautious of your time, next thing you know, you've been talking to someone who can't get you anywhere for like 5 minutes. Now you do that over the course of like 20 customers, 20 times 5 is 100. Now you just spend 100 minutes doing nothing, right? So it's very easy for a lot of your time to just run away from you when it comes to that. The next part is bill presentations to forms, right? So if that's where my deficit is, these are the things that I really got to focus on. First, I got to focus on using my impulse factors. As I'm breaking down everything, the way I was trained on how to use your impulse factors, as I'm doing the presentation, every information I'm giving, I'm like lacing that information with one of the impulse factors. You'll realize as I go through my entire presentation, the person is really excited because I've almost used every single impulse factors that apply in that scenario. Or you got to get better at taking control. Maybe I'm waiting too much at the decision maker before I say, hey, I'm going to step to the side and do a side-by-side comparison. I'll let you know when I'm done. Maybe you're not saying that phrase as often. And then the last thing that you might need to work on is getting better at reading closing signals, right? The whole goal of me using an impulse is to get the person ready for the close. So I'm using the impulse factor and looking at them and listening to them for closing signals as well. And then the last part, if I'm getting to the forms, but then not the customers, what I need to work on is number one, my time management. Maybe I'm just taking too much time and people's impulse are dropping. I'm not doing a lot of CPRing as well, which is, creating that personal relationships as we already talked about. And then lastly, I'm not confident with closing objections, right? Because as I'm going through that last part when I'm on the tablet, there are going to be closing objections. Now, so there's two ways to look at closing objections. They're going to come anyway because people are going to think about it. The only way to help make yourself get less closing objections is the same way I talked about overturning objections before. You have to create a better relationship. You have to fill that silence gap, right? If nobody's saying anything, I'm talking about them. I don't want that buyer's remorse where I'm silent, they're silent. You know what they're going to be thinking about? Nothing that has to do with why I'm there. They're like, maybe I can do this another time. Maybe this is taking too much time. They're not thinking about anything that's going to help me or them, process the sale that day. They're going to be thinking about anything else. So I don't want that to happen, so I fill that gap with a conversation. Obviously not like very surface level conversation. If that person wants to get a little deep, whatever, right? We'll talk about whatever they're interested in. We're just not going to talk about anything inappropriate, but anything that's appropriate, we're going to talk about it because that's the more they're going to trust me because now they feel like they know me because we built a better relationship. But as long as you follow these things, what it does, once again, like I say, is it puts you in control. It's not going to say, hey, because I follow this, I'm going to get success. It's like, now I know what I did wrong, so now I know how to fix that and make it right. That way I can get better success the next day. And as long as you're following these things, you will have no problem breaking down your day, first of all, then formulating a game plan for the next day, and of course, making sure you're bouncing back as you should. Cool? I'll see you in the next video.